And you don't have a bad dialect. Some teachers have a really strong dialect, and so it gets really hard to understand. But even then, when it's a new principle or a new concept, those things are useful to be reinforced by PowerPoint. Um, so that's the only thing I want to say about that. Going back to the more points, though, the main points. The last point was I think interactivity would be a great way to enhance this course. And there's three parts of that. I thought the technology, the lecture, and the presentations, the way you do these three things, if you made them more interactive, I think it would help out everybody and make the class better. I know that we can all be very frustrated with technology, and I understand that you've told us you're not a technical guru. I'm glad we have someone helping in that regard. But needless to say, we've all had to figure out, and we as distance students have had to learn how to embrace attending college through this screen. And I'm a firm believer that within 3 to 5 years, all college, well, half of college is going to be done like this. I think it's a brilliant model, and I think as soon as the program is perfected, like the Blackboard Connection program or the Adobe Connect, I mean, I think that lots of schools are going to do a lot more of this. I know at our school we try to do a lot of hybrid stuff also online. And I enjoy the hybrid online interactivity of a live classroom. I think that's great. Um, but but we have issues where, the PowerPoint's not working that day or the audio's not perfect. And I know you don't have control over all of that, but as a teacher, if you could try to figure out how to make that as fluid as possible, I think that would really enhance the class. And there's other teachers that do great at it. There's some that don't do it at all. And I think this is a class that should require, um, well, on to my next one. Instead of being a lecture, I don't think it should require us to participate more. And you're not up there with a bullhorn. I know that. But I feel like sometimes the thoughts in this class, if you were to present them and then to have us discuss them, and I think that personally, and I know I wouldn't be a popular person in our class if I said this, but you should require all the distance students to have their pictures and their video up online, and that way they can just click to add their mic and they can instantly talk. And there's a feature on here on Adobe Connect where you can just click and your hand goes up, and you as the instructor, you have to be aware to look at the screen and see if one of those little hand markers have come up. But then you can just call on us and we can quickly click the button and be speaking with you. Especially if the connection's already made video-wise. I've just noticed that if everybody has to log in with video, the audio typically goes a lot better. And so I think that would really help. And I think more classroom debate about the topics, and maybe and I know that's opening up a can of worms because sometimes we're going to go off topic, but I think that that's where, at least in my experience, a lot of teachable moments come is when students discover, you introduce a principle and they discuss it and then they get it wrong, and you can bring them back and say, no, this is how you look at it, or this is the normal take on that. Or even if they get it right but they came to it on their own, then you can just pontificate on it. And I think that as people are explaining their views, if you were to challenge them, much like you did on the first night, where you looked at the student's body language and told him what he was conveying, if you were doing that to everybody in class all the time, I think we would all be scared to death of you. But I think it would be an incredible learning experience for us to see, even if you're wrong. Even if what you see is wrong. I know when I teach PowerPoint, I'm constantly trying to point out idiosyncrasies and flaws in a person's presentation so they can learn and they can know what are they doing that's right and wrong. Um, yeah, that's about it. And if you provide that honest critique, just like this guy does here, I think some of us might get a little leery about it, but I know from personal experience sometimes about these things is if someone's honest enough with us to tell us what's going on, or what are we doing, or what are we not doing, or do we look mean when we're speaking, or are we happy? Last thing I thought would improve this with interactivity is if the students did some of the teaching. Where if you were to give us more of these readings on the ethos and just the psychology, and maybe you didn't come in and lecture on it, but you had groups present on it. And I don't even know if you want to require a PowerPoint, but just have us study out a principle well enough that we can teach it to another group of people. I think that would be a very beneficial thing, and I think it would help the class learn the topic. And if it's journal articles or whatever, but then we all have to come in and explain something if people have questions. And then, like I said before, you could pontificate on that and keep going if we miss something. But I think that would help out with interactivity. But all in all, like I said, I've really enjoyed this class. I want to say thank you. It's been a great summertime course. I feel like the workload has not been overwhelming, and the knowledge has been great. And so I really appreciate that. And just as a student, I appreciate that. And as a teacher, I can appreciate how hard this class could be to teach. Um, I've noticed as I teach that getting students to think, which I feel like this is a thinking course. This isn't like teaching marketing or I would say like accounting. Accounting, you can just teach debits and credits, and it's easy because it's math, it's logical. This is much more psychological, and I just feel like the benefits are tremendous. And I would love to take 5 more classes on this if they offered it, but I don't think they do. And I just want to say thank you again. So that's my critique, and hopefully those 3 things can help you out. So I just once again, just drop the book, prepare a more logical path with the lectures and the assignments, and then make the class more interactive. And I think those 3 things can really help to boost this course to even more greatness. That's it. Thank you very much.